I'm going to go ahead and start this video off by apologizing to many of my viewers out there who have never really seen me get this excited about something before, because I just watched the Xbox E3 conference and let's go! That's how you do it! Who thought we would be going from the worst show of E3, at least I pray to God that's going to end up being the worst show. I can't imagine something topping EA's conference this year for worst of the show, into what is quite possibly the best of the year, into Xbox's conference, which I gotta go ahead and say, I'm not even an Xbox fanboy. I'm not some big Microsoft head coming in here and just going, yeah man, Microsoft, they win it every year. They do not win it every year. Microsoft loses almost every single year, and they've tried in the past to come in here and win. They have gotten everything ready. They have prepped for months for this thing, and then they have just come in here only to watch Nintendo and Sony just smack that lunch tray right out of their hands. This is the year that they came prepared. They got their ass kicked too many times, and then they opened up that old comic book, found that Charles Atlas guide to becoming a He-Man, went and worked out at the beach, and now they have come back. This was like a Rocky training montage for an E3 show. Xbox conferences have always had that one or two things in there that made me go, you know, that's pretty good, that's all right, that's not bad. But they never wowed me. They never had anything that just blew me away. And this year it was one thing after another. This wasn't just what I can only imagine will be the best show of all E3 this year. This is one of the best shows of any E3 that I've seen. And it's because they realized this is a show. It's all about razzle dazzle, baby. They came in here and they just said, we have 50 games to show you, 18 of which were going to be exclusives and 15 of which were going to be world premieres. That is how you do a lineup. And man, after the EA one, in which it was, okay, we're gonna come in here, show you something, then we're gonna just come in here, have a little conference, gonna talk about it a little bit, then we're going to actually have these two guys come up here and play this mobile game against each other while we have sports announcers talk about, I seriously cannot believe that they did that. This was how you do an E3 show. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. Nobody cares about having the developers come up there and talk about this thing and then that thing. We're going to talk about all the specs of this thing. I remember that was one thing that always defined the Xbox conferences. Like I poked fun at EA there, but this is something that Xbox needed to work on. This is something that Microsoft needed to work on. Microsoft would come in here and talk about the specs of their machine, of this hardware. And you know what? To all the people who know what the fudge they're talking about, that's impressive. That ain't the vast majority of your audience. You need to come in here and just razzle dazzle them. At E3, you need to be like a magician. You need to get up there and go, here's the trick, here's the amazing thing, and now here's the next trick, here's an even bigger trick. Look at all these amazing illusions that I am doing. You don't need to get in there and go up there and go, let me show you where that rabbit actually was. That's the amazing part of all this. Trust me, you're gonna find this very fascinating. Yes, I will find it very fascinating. It's also gonna bore the crap out of me and make that thing you just did not seem nearly as impressive or amazing. This was them just coming in here, trailer, 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 trailer. They did stop every now and again to talk, which is fine. You need to actually do that every now and again to kind of just give us a moment to breathe. But that's when it's appropriate to come in there and actually stop and talk a little bit. You need to come in here after everybody is really hyped up and give everybody a moment to just kind of like cool down a little bit so you can hype us right back up again. That's how they did their show this year. And also the variety in these games. That has been another problem with Xbox for a long time, is that Xbox came in here and early on they said, we're gonna be the gaming system for the bros. We're gonna be the gaming system for all the dude bros out there. And I'm not saying that as an insult. There's a lot of fun ass dude bro games out there. And Xbox made a lot of fun ass dude bro games out there. But that audience has reached its peak. Like, you're not going to get more dude bro audiences in there than you already have. And Xbox for the longest time was relying on that. This was the year when I looked at it and said, oh my God, they're now reaching out to everyone. And don't get me wrong, they've reached out before in the past, but they would reach out with this one game here. They would reach out with that one game there. here's another game that reaches out. This year, 50 freaking games. Here's the Dude Bro games, opening up with Halo Infinite, which granted, anytime I see the word Infinite next to a game now, it does make me nervous. But they opened up with Halo. Oh my god, perfect, bam, done. One of the last things they showed, Gears of War 6. Holy cow, that is big, way to go. But then the rest of this game, oh my goodness. Here's some weird ass anime game over here. Here is some crazy ass Capcom game over here. Here's the cute, adorable indie stuff, everybody. They got everyone in here, and the variety they showed wasn't like one bit of variety there, one bit of variety there. The whole conference was a smorgasbord. Smorgasbord? I don't know. Now, I don't have time to talk about every single thing that they showed off here. That's incredible. So I'm just going to run down the ones that really impressed me. I don't even really have time to do that. There were so many games in here. So yes, okay, Halo, you got to see that. We all kind of knew that was coming, but you know, that's good to start off with because it was just a teaser. They had nothing else to show aside from teaser. Start that off, got everyone hyped. After that, one of the very first games they showed, was the new From Software game, which we had gotten the briefest of teasers for that at the Video Game Awards earlier. And all it was just shadows die twice, and then you saw like some machine being revved up. And so many people were like, twice, that means two. Which franchise of theirs only has one installment? Bloodborne? Could be Bloodborne? Could Bloodborne 2 be coming? And it's not Bloodborne 2. It's a brand new game. It's called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and for anybody who doesn't know, From Software, they developed Bloodborne, they also developed Dark Souls, which both have very unique and iconic forms of gameplay, and many people have started to try and adapt that into other games. And there was a game called Nioh that came out, which took that style of gameplay and put it into feudal Japan, and we've been watching these live with an audience on Twitch, at twitch.tv/ProfessorThorgE, and someone in the chat came in and said, is this Nioh? And yeah, because you look at this, and it is that style of combat. It is that type of gameplay set in feudal Japan, and I just kept thinking about that going, this is almost like the people who invented these games, who invented Dark Souls, who invented Bloodborne, looked over at Nioh and said, give that back over here. You try and take our game and set it in feudal Japan. Here, let me show you how that's done. And I like Nioh. Nioh is a really good game. But I can't help but laugh that like the one thing that made it really unique was that, yeah, we're taking it and setting it in feudal Japan. The people who mastered and invented this style of game came in here and just went, yeah, let me show you how that's done. So yeah, I don't have much else to really analyze about this game. I am very excited that From Software isn't making Bloodborne 2 because as good of a game as Bloodborne is, I'm just happy to see people doing new stuff. Anytime that a game franchise that is beloved, their creators get an opportunity to do something new, I'm all for that. And that's exactly what this is. From Software is getting the opportunity to create a new franchise. So I'm very excited about that. I will say one of the things that makes this kind of unique is that you look at Dark Souls, you look at Bloodborne, all the creatures that you run into, yeah, they are monsters in those games. In this one, there's monstrous looking creatures, but everyone looks way more human in this than they did in the other games. So I wonder if that's just the portion of the game that we saw, or if that's going to be kind of a defining thing about this entire game. If this entire game isn't going to be quite as dark horror as the other games were, is not going to be quite as much monstrous creatures that you have to face, if they are going to be more human. There are, again, monsters in this, but they are more of just like really big people. People that look kind of grotesque a little bit. It's not quite to the limit that the other games were, so again, I'm wondering if that's the entire game or just the portion that we saw. The next thing that they showed off was Fallout 76, which the Bethesda conference is in a couple hours, and this is like the big release from Bethesda. What the heck does Bethesda have to show off at their conference now? Like, what are they going to show that they were actually able to come in here and actually go, hey man, we're going to give you this. Xbox, the thing that is our opening show in many ways, the thing that is coming right before us, we're going to give you a trailer for the thing that we were going to show off at our show. That's very intriguing to me. But it looks good. It doesn't look quite as dour and depressing as the previous Fallout games. Not that they were really like depressing, but they were set in like post-apocalyptic nuclear wastelands. In here, you hear a guy who really sounds like Ron Perlman talking about how now it's time to rebuild. Now it is time to create something new again. And I was looking at that like, oh shoot, is this going to be like basically moving this whole universe ahead? Like, has the radiation levels dropped down a little bit? Is it now safe to go out there and start rebuilding society? If that's part of the game, that's very interesting. As I said, I didn't really play too much of any of the other Fallout games. I played enough of them to be able to go, okay, yeah, I get this. Like, I would play them at a friend's house back in college. But yeah, that's about all I did. So maybe you already did that in previous games. So if so, I apologize. But yeah, man, if that is where they're taking this franchise, I'm very intrigued, and I actually applaud them for doing that. Next thing they showed off was Crackdown 3, which I find it so funny that they showed off Crackdown 3 here just a couple of days after Steam had to cancel everyone's pre-order for Crackdown 3 because they didn't know when the game was coming out anymore. But now it's coming out, and it is an exclusive now to Xbox. And many times in the past, when something was exclusive to Xbox, it still came out on Steam. So I'm now kind of wondering if Steam canceling everyone's pre-orders for that might be because Xbox came in here and said, yeah, no one gets it but us now. It's just going to be on our system and Windows 10. Because if they did that, then I kind of have to applaud Xbox on this, because that in the end has always been Xbox's biggest problem. It's the fact that Xbox doesn't have nearly enough of a reason to buy their console. They don't have enough games just on their console. Because there are games that are console exclusive to them, meaning that it's not on PlayStation, it's not on Nintendo, it's just on the Xbox One, but it's still on Steam. I don't own an Xbox, but the only game that was on Xbox that I really wanted to play was Cuphead. I can play Cuphead on my computer. I have played Cuphead on my computer. I have no reason to buy that Xbox. So if they came in here and said, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. If it's an Xbox exclusive, it's an Xbox exclusive. That could be the turning point for Xbox. That was the magic formula that Xbox needed all this time that they weren't able to fully capture. So, yeah, man, if they actually finally started doing that, then hey, this could be a big change. The console war could be back on now. But speaking about Crackdown 3, let's be real, it's Terry Crews Simulator 2018. That's what this game is. This game is, hey, do you like Terry Crews? Want Terry Crews screaming in your ear for an entire game? That's what this is. It's basically Old Spice, the video game.
Homing rocket gun, bullseye, vortex cannon, the boom shakalaka. Man, these bad guys just won't quit. They got mad science, and mad a master plan. Here we go! Oh, Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power!
There's a moment in here in which Terry Crews, which I'm sure he has a character's name, but we're all just going to call him Terry Crews, in which Terry Crews fires off a rubber ducky rocket launcher and it just shoots rubber duckies throughout the air and he goes, quack, quack, mother. And I just looked at that and just went, these are like the rejected scripts for Old Spice commercials. Like, if Old Spice and the Saints Row games had a baby, this is what this game looks like. And if that's what they're going for, I'm coming in here and going, Crackdown, listen, I know your game's been delayed and all that, so you still have some time to work on it. Get Isaiah Mustafa to be the big villain at the end of this game. For anybody who doesn't know who that is, that was the original Old Spice guy. Before Terry Crews came in here, he was the, hello ladies, look at your man, look back at me, I have diamonds in my hand, I'm on a horse. He was that guy. Bring him in here to be the guy who fights Terry Crews. I will buy an Xbox just for that.
Ah, guess who?
It's you.
It's me, goodbye!
But then it went into the new Metro game, which I'm not really going to talk about that because I've never played a Metro game before, but I hear that they're fantastic. I hear they're great horror games. I love horror games. Maybe I will check it out. But right after that was one of the biggest surprises of the entire show. As I said, Xbox for the longest time had been trying to bring in the Dude Bro audience, but also the serious gamers. Trying to bring in those people who want really mature stuff, not that kiddie crap out there. That was the tone they tried to go for the longest time. They put out a world premiere trailer of Kingdom Hearts 3. The game that we've all been waiting on for the longest time. I think this was the first English trailer for this. That's amazing. We had gotten trailers before, obviously. This was the first trailer that I remember seeing with the English audio in there. At least like a full one. I think we got like a small teaser at one point, but this was like a full-on trailer. Got the entire voice cast in there. We got to hear everybody coming together. Oh my god. I never thought I would see the day in which the Square Enix Disney game was going to get a premiere trailer at the Xbox conference. I'm kind of choked up about all this. Again, for years, Xbox kept coming in here and just going, we are going to be the console that focuses on first-person shooters, on serious military games, on really manly dude bro games. And you have a trailer here in which you got Sora, Donald, and Goofy. And this thing opens up with them in a wintry wonderland, and they go, oh, who's that over there? And you see freaking Elsa from Frozen walking by, and I, a grown-ass man, just went, oh my god, it's Frozen! And then the chat on my Twitch stream was going, Frozen, Frozen, Frozen! This is fantastic. This is fantastic that Xbox came in here and provided us with something like that, something that we would never have expected from an Xbox conference. They gave us a trailer that everyone had been waiting on. That's the other thing about this. Xbox is going to get people talking. Xbox has got people talking because no one had seen this trailer yet, and people have been waiting on this trailer. This had been one of the things that everyone was looking forward to at this year's E3. They got it. They came in here, grabbed it up, and saved it for their show. That's fantastic. Way to compete, Xbox. Now, as for the trailer itself, yeah man, it looks like Kingdom Hearts. I like Kingdom Hearts. I can't wait to play me some more Kingdom Hearts. Yes, it's coming out in 2019, but hey man, after Final Fantasy 15, I've learned I'm okay with Square pushing their game back as far as they need to in order to make it a complete game. I would far rather Kingdom Hearts 3 come out in 2019 and be a complete game, rather than it come out in 2018 and then it's not a complete storyline. I have to go to other places to figure out where all the different parts of this story fit together, and then all of a sudden at one part, Donald just leaves for no reason, and then he comes back and goes, well, I just sure had an adventure. Guess you'll hear about that one day. And then it's DLC that comes out months later. I don't want to like fall into some trap and then discover an unfinished level in this game. I want them to finish this game. And if it takes them until 2019 to finish it, it takes them till 2019 to finish it. That's all I'm going to say about that. That and the fact that there's that one scene in there in which Elsa blasts one of the Heartless with her ice powers, I just thought, oh my god, are you going to get to team up with Elsa? Oh my god, how am I, a grown-ass man, that excited about that concept? Also, I will say that even though I love Kingdom Hearts, I only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I never played any of the side games. And at the end of this thing, Aqua from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep shows up, but she now has white hair like all the villains do in the previous games, and she steps out of shadows, so now there's an evil Aqua in this game. Guess I'm gonna be playing Birth by Sleep. Lucky for me, it's not coming out till 2019. Which apparently they're going to need that time to put the sound effects into this game. Yeah, I applaud them for getting the first English trailer out there. That's awesome, but you can also tell that they were rushing to get that out there on time, because they didn't have time to put the sound effects in the game, because there are so many moments in this trailer in which it pauses for what should have been like an action scene for some crazy action going down, but there's zero sounds to it. And yeah, it felt weird, it felt awkward, but again, that's one of the reasons this game has come out to 2019. They've still got some work to do on it, but it's looking good so far. Next up is Forza, and yeah man, you're always gonna get a Forza game here at the Xbox conference. I don't care anything at all about racing games, I don't care about the Forza games, but hey man, this isn't like a normal Microsoft year in which it's like, well, I don't care about that game, I don't care about that game, I don't care about that game, and now we're on to Forza. No, there's a game I care about, another game I care about, and we're done. That's it. No, this was game I care about, 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 don't care about that one, game I care about, game I care about, now Forza. So yeah, it's like, alright, cool. I will let Forza get up there, talk all they want, but it is still weird to me that the rest of this conference was just trailer, 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 not stopping for anything. We are going to stop for Forza, because it is in our contract that we always have to stop and talk about Forza. Yeah, it's a driving game. It looks pretty. It always looks pretty. Every single time that they show off a new Forza game, it looks very pretty. but I'm never going to be that interested in Forza. But I will say, this looks so weird to me because you're apparently in a big open world and you just drive around with other people in that open world who are also playing the game, and you can all meet up and chat with each other, and it just made me laugh. It made me laugh because you've got like 6 cars in a big circle around each other with the little, hey, how's it going? Want to go for a race? Want to do this thing? Like popping out above their heads. And all it can make me think is, this is when MMORPG would be like in the Disney Cars universe. Like, this looks like a World of Warcraft or any of those other MMORPGs where you just go into this big open world and you go in to meet up with people. Except rather than being characters, you're all cars. And it just kind of made me laugh. I can't explain why, but I did get a chuckle out of it. Then after talking about so many games, they had to come in here and talk a little business. They had to talk about all their wheelings and dealings, because Microsoft wanted to come in here and talk about the 5 studios that they had recently acquired. They recently went out there and bought up all these other studios to become a part of the Microsoft family. Alright, that's cool, that's good. They mentioned 3 companies, I was like, okay, fine. That's, I don't really know them, or the games they do just aren't really my type of thing. But, hey, good that Microsoft is growing. Way to go, you guys. The 4th company that they announced was Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory did Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice was not on my top 10 games of last year list because I didn't play it until around March or February of this year. We actually played it on Twitch as part of our sequential Sunday streams. We played it all from start to finish there on Twitch. If I had played that when it was released, that easily would have broken into my top 10. It wouldn't even have gotten in my top 10. It would have gotten probably into my top 5. I loved Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. So the fact that Microsoft went, find me a kick-ass indie studio out there that is doing really amazing stories with incredible graphics, great characters, get me that studio and make them part of Microsoft. They did that. Ninja Theory is part of their team now. I was blown away by that. And then they revealed they had a secret 5th company they bought up. Compulsion Games. The people who for years have been working on We Happy Few. And we got a new trailer for We Happy Few and it looks amazing. I am still really excited for that. But I looked at this and I looked at these guys at Microsoft coming in here and buying up Compulsion Games, which was making this indie game that they've been talking about for years and people have been hyped about for years, and I went, they learned from Cuphead. Because last year when they came in here and said, yeah, we bought up Cuphead. Cuphead is going to be an Xbox exclusive. It's going to be Xbox, Steam, Windows 10 exclusive, which isn't technically exclusive, but yeah, there's a whole other argument that I already made. But they came in here, they bought up Cuphead, and so many people were excited for that. So many people bought Cuphead on Xbox. So many people had been waiting for this game, and they were happy to support this game over on Xbox. That made Microsoft realize, oh my god, what if, hold on, hear me out. What if we found other games that people were really excited for, and then we bought them and made them Xbox exclusive? Now, I don't think that We Happy Few is going to be Xbox exclusive. It comes out on August 10th, and I don't think that you can really make something exclusive in the span of 2 months. I think that it has already been promised on the other consoles for so long that I don't think that they can get out of that. But I think they looked at how people have been hyped up for We Happy Few for years, and they said, okay, you're going to start your next thing as soon as you're done with this, and it's going to be Xbox exclusive. It's going to be just for us. Damn, man, these guys, they've learned. It is so rewarding to watch a company that stumbled for so many years learning. Speaking of learning from Cuphead, I'm going to jump around a little bit because they also announced DLC for Cuphead, which this is huge because not only was Cuphead a massive hit, I thought it was a one and done. I thought that was it. I didn't think we were getting anything else until maybe a sequel years from now, but we're getting DLC next year, and it looks almost as big as a brand new game. There's brand new characters, an older character is now playable, they're adding a whole new island with a bunch of new bosses on it, which considering that the last game was made up of 3 islands, that means this DLC will be almost a third the size of the old game. That is mind-blowing. That's the kind of DLC I want to see in games like this. Then we got some talk of PUBG, which I've talked about PUBG in our last episode. It's not really my thing, but hey man, any announcements you can make about PUBG, people enjoy it, whatever. Although, the entire time I was watching that trailer for PUBG and all the new stuff they had coming for it, all I could think was, Fortnite could come out here and just say, hey, we now have silly, funny new hats for our characters, and it would instantly outsell everything that PUBG is going to do. Fortnite just makes it look that easy. So yeah, it's like, alright, PUBG, whatever, I don't care about that. But then you want to talk about surprises that interest me? They started showing a trailer and a song came on and I went, I know this song. Where do I know this? And then all of a sudden the characters from Tales of Vesperia started popping up. I went, are you remastering Tales of Vesperia? And sure enough they are! I freaking love me some Tales of Vesperia. But I played the original version that came out. I never played the updated version, which had a brand new character in there. But now they're going to have this completely remastered, updated version of it coming out. So I could see myself going back to that game. Okay, I'm gonna start racing through a couple of these games because in all honesty, the next couple of games they showed off, I didn't really care about one way or another. They showed off Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which you want to talk about the range that they showed off games here at the Microsoft conference. Tales of Vesperia Remaster, Tom Clancy's The Division, one right after another. That's a lot of range. Those are some very different types of games. So we went to that, then you showed off a new skateboard game, which I know everyone has been talking about Skate 4. They were waiting for Skate 4. This ain't Skate 4. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are kind of disappointed by that, but whatever. Then you got the new Tomb Raider. It looks good. It looks like Tomb Raider. But then they moved into another world premiere, and this was something that we had heard hinted about, but I was not expecting to see it here. It's a world premiere, and it opens up with this guy going, how long have we known each other? And I was like, okay, he looks kind of like... This looks kind of like a mob boss type of game, because it looks like some like informant kind of guy. He's got the big cigars. Like, okay, this looks like a guy who knows some information, knows about your character's dark past. He's got some history with you. Okay, we'll see what goes down with this. But then all of a sudden you start seeing like demons popping up. I was like, whoa, not where I thought this trailer was going. Then the words Capcom pop up there. And I thought, Capcom? What the heck? What game could this be from Capcom? What game could Capcom be showing? I don't know, like, okay, so like kind of like a mob-looking guy and big demons. Could this be a new franchise from Capcom? No. Capcom doesn't make new things anymore. Could this be Devil May Cry? We had heard rumors of Devil May Cry 5 showing up here. And then this van comes rolling up, and there's a dude in there with a gun and white hair. And I went, oh my god, it is Devil May Cry. But then I looked at the guy with white hair, and I went, the guy is skinny and young and looks kind of punkish. You are making Devil May Cry, but it's set in the DMC universe? For anybody who doesn't know, Capcom tried to reboot the Devil May Cry franchise by calling it DMC, and it was now set in a brand new universe. Dante was younger, he had black hair instead of white, but it could still turn white if he did stuff, whatever, that's a whole long story. People didn't really respond well to it. They thought that it didn't have the fun, jokey tone of the previous games, tried to be too serious. They didn't really care about them throwing out all the continuity of the previous games. People had a lot of problems with that game. I was looking at this like, oh my god, we are getting Devil May Cry 5. In fact, the side of the van even said Devil May Cry. But it's in the DMC universe? I don't know how I feel about that. But then I watched the gameplay and I went, you know what? Even if it's in the DMC universe, it's still got that fun, jokey tone. It's still got the tone of the previous Devil May Cry games, which was my big problem with DMC. It did not have that fun tone of the previous one. So, hey, if you're able to give that tone here, fine, cool. You know what? I'm okay with that. But then there came a second in which I heard Dante talking. I went, that's not the same voice actor from DMC. It's also not the same voice actor from Devil May Cry. That's Johnny Young Bosch. Johnny Young Bosch was not the voice of Dante. Why would you hire Johnny Young Bosch to be the voice of Dante when he was in Devil May Cry 4 as Nero? Why would you get the guy who voiced Nero to voice Dante in this one, especially considering that in Devil May Cry 4, Nero was the guy who Dante threw the big jersey to and said, hey, thanks kid, it's your franchise now. You're the star of this franchise now. And the moment that I said that in my head, I went, get the f*** out, that's Nero. This isn't the DMC universe. This is the Devil May Cry universe. And that's not Dante. They didn't, like, undo Devil May Cry 4. They came in here and said, hey, you know how in Devil May Cry 4, we said we're now handing the franchise over to this guy? We're making good on that promise. We're handing the franchise over to him. But I still wasn't entirely convinced because I was like, yeah, but Nero, he had this big like ghost arm. He could summon out like a giant like demon energy in his arm. I'm not seeing any of that. What does his arm look like? Oh, there's a cutscene of that arm of his getting cut off and now he's got a robot arm. Oh my god, that's Nero. And yeah, I went back and I watched this trailer repeatedly afterwards. And early on in this trailer, he did something that I should have caught, but I totally missed it. Where he revs up his sword like an engine, which was something that Nero could do, but not Dante. Yeah, that hint was there at the beginning of this trailer, and I totally missed it. And oh my god, I just can't believe this. I can't believe that not only are we returning to the old Devil May Cry universe, but also they're staying with the story they had established. They came in here with Devil May Cry 4 and said, yeah, man, Dante, he's getting older. It's time to pass that on to the next generation. And you guys know me, I bring this up all the time. I love when characters pass things on to the next generation. It shows growth. It shows a story continuing. It shows this world moving on. They set that up in Devil May Cry 4 and then they completely abandoned it for a reboot. Oh my god, they're going back and doing it. We're getting that. We're getting the world where Nero is now the new devil hunter. He's the new guy and he's got his own like southern tech expert who's building him his robot arm and driving him around a van. He's got his own supporting franchise now. He's got his own cast of characters. I'm so excited for this. And for anybody who's like, yeah, but where's Dante? He pops up at the end. Looking old, grizzled, got a beard now, but he's still smiling like Dante and still being a badass. I can't wait. I am so excited for this game. And again, Devil May Cry, yeah, Devil May Cry 4 and DMC, it was on the Xbox, but you think of Devil May Cry, you think of PlayStation. Dante started off on the PlayStation. That was his original home. So to come in here and look at this thing that was known for being a PlayStation franchise, even when it was on other consoles, and going, oh my god, it's now being premiered, is being shown off at the Xbox conference. That's huge. That is amazing. That was a great grab for Xbox. This is the thing that they knew everyone was going to be talking about, everyone was waiting on. They're going to make sure that when they talked about it, they talked about it with Microsoft. The next game they showed off was this thing with a little adorable fox, and it looks like an old school Zelda game, just now three-dimensional, and it looked adorable, and at the end it said Tunic. I have been hearing these whispers about some really hot indie game called Tunic for a while now, but never actually seen anything about it. Yeah, man, this thing had like a very subtle amount of hype going up. Like, people in the know had kind of been hyping this up like through whispers, like just word of mouth. Yeah, man, it was great to finally see this, and this looks incredibly charming. This looks like it could be very fun. Now time to move into what is probably going to be my most embarrassing thing to admit about this entire conference. This next game is the thing I am the most hyped for out of everything that they announced. Or at least it's the thing I got the biggest reaction from out of everything that they announced. The next thing that popped up here, it was a picture of a couple of statues. And I couldn't quite make out what they were. They looked kind of familiar, but I couldn't quite tell. And they also said before this that was a Bandai Namco game. Okay, I like Bandai Namco. They do some good stuff. The next thing that shows up is the Sunny. It is the ship that Luffy is the captain of in the One Piece manga. And that's when I realized, wait, was that the statues of the Hokages from Naruto that we just saw? Oh, okay, alright, I know what this is, I know, okay, alright. And then the next thing that you see is Frieza's ship from Dragon Ball. Like, okay, Bandai Namco, they do a wide variety of stuff, but they also, one thing that they're known for, they do the Shonen Jump battle games. They do those games where they take all the anime and manga characters from the Shonen Jump manga and they bring them all together for a big old fighting game. Great, wonderful. So that's what this is going to be, whatever. You know, I like Shonen Jump, I like the characters in those mangas, but I never really got into any of these games. They're just not my type of thing because they're big arena fighting games where like you're just running around like a giant map. I prefer fighting games that are a little bit more tight, a little bit closer together with each other. So they've never really been my type of thing. But then the trailer keeps going on and they show where they're fighting and I went, is that New York City? Are they fighting in the real world? And the announcer in this is talking about how like, there came those times when we needed to call upon heroes. And I was like, Is this going to be some crazy ass thing where like the villains from these mangas break into the real world and now the heroes have to come to the real world and fight them? Because, okay, it's interesting seeing like Naruto and Luffy and Goku fighting in like Naruto's village or fighting in like a location from Dragon Ball Z. Having them fight in the real world is something we've never seen before. Having them tear it up in Times Square, that's unique. That's new. There's a shot in there of Luffy standing on an American flagpole like Spider-Man, and I just looked at that and went, I've never seen that before, and for some weird reason, it's got me really excited. I can't explain it, but for some reason, I am hyped just looking at Luffy standing on an American flagpole in New York City. And the graphics on this are very different. Yes, they all look like the characters. They all look like they're supposed to look from the manga, but the shading on them and the coloring on them is so much more realistic that it makes it feel like, oh my god, is this supposed to be these characters in the real world? Because that is new, and I kind of want to see these characters in these locations. So I was enjoying this. I was excited. I went, you know what? I don't really like these types of games, but I'm excited for this one. I'm totally on board. But the way this thing ended, I looked at it and went, that's not an ending. That's not an ending. It's going to cut to black, and there's going to be a new reveal. And in my head, I was thinking, All Might. All Might or Deku, like from My Hero Academia, because that's the current big hot deal going on with shonen manga right now. That is the big name over at Shonen Jump, and those characters have never been in any of the previous fighting games. They're too new for that. So yeah, of course, they're going to be the ones that you show off in this. The characters that get revealed at the end of this are Light Yagami and Ryuk, and I lost my mind. I am just going to play for you the clip from my reaction of this on Twitch.
Jump Force.
What the f***?
Unite to fight.
The f***? Get the f***? I thought the big reveal at the end was gonna be like All Might or something. What the f***? Oh my god! Oh, my little weeaboo heart just exploded. I swear to you, those were genuine emotions. I was blown away by that. This idea that Light Yagami is now going to be in this game, and my wife actually told me, that's not fair. He can just kill any of them by writing their names in the Death Note. And then I went, aha, but then they can bring them back with the Dragon Balls. I want to see this crazy combination that we're going to get from all these characters coming together. But I kept thinking to myself, yeah, Light Yagami, he's not going to be in a fighting game. You're not going to have that guy going toe-to-toe with other characters. And then I realized, story mode. There's going to be a story mode in this. Because this thing opened up with these three characters having to fight Frieza, the big villain from Dragon Ball Z. And when you saw Light Yagami there at the end, I realized this entire game is going to be Light Yagami trying to take over the world, but it's going to be him manipulating the other characters. Him trying to find out their names. Him trying to get the other villains to stir up trouble so that way you can get the heroes to have to go and fight them. There's going to be some long, crazy-ass story mode. And considering Light Yagami is in there, you have to think this out. It can't just be, hey, we all wound up in a place and now we all have to fight each other. Light Yagami was all about planning, step after step after step after step. I want to see the weird-ass story mode that they're going to come up with to get Goku to go up against Light Yagami. Next, there were several other games that got shown up. We got looks at the new Tomb Raider, we got looks at the new Just Cause. All that's great, but you know, I never really play those games. I don't really have much to add on them. They look really cool, that's all I gotta say. But then there was one little teaser trailer that came out, and you want to talk about surprises. It starts off, and it's just got word bubbles popping up. And I was like, okay, this definitely, like, they're definitely not showing us something new. You wouldn't show us something new and keep it in the shadows. This is definitely something old that they're hinting at. What uses word bubbles? And I kept thinking back to it, and I'm going, yeah, I gotta go way back on this one. And a couple of franchises were coming to mind, and then there was a moment in which he said, it's time for the three of you to return. And I went, three of you? Battletoads? Like, that crossed my mind, but then I immediately stopped and went, no, that's too stupid. They wouldn't do that. It's a new Battletoads game. They're bringing back Battletoads. Again, I'm not saying this is like the biggest thing. This isn't the thing that's gotten me the most excited. This isn't the thing that made me just scream out loud. But you want to talk about stuff that I was not expecting at all. A new Battletoads game. And I'm hoping that this isn't like some like old 8-bit thing where they're trying to go back and make it look like an old-timey game. I hope they do update this. And the only thing we've seen of Battletoads in the past couple years, hell, probably the past decade, was when they had a Battletoad pop up in Killer Instinct, which was also an Xbox exclusive, and exclusive to Xbox, Steam, and Windows 10. Yeah, man, someone at Microsoft is a Battletoads fan. I don't know who keeps trying to bring them back, but kudos to you on actually getting it done. But the Battletoad and Killer Instinct actually look pretty damn good. If you want to update this, I'm all for it. I mean, nothing against going for that retro look, but, you know, I kind of want something a little bit updated. I want something that looks a little bit new. I'm not saying you have to go photorealistic on this thing, but, you know, if you look at games like, say, Guacamelee out there, games that do try and capture, like, an old school style of gameplay, but do have really crisp new graphics, you know, go with something like that. That's what I'm hoping for. For all we know, they could completely update this thing. This could be like an over-the-shoulder camera beat-em-up kind of game. Who the heck knows? Because, goddamn, that was just such a big surprise to me. But then they come in there and they announce a new Gears of War game, but then the wall breaks apart and it's a Funko Pop. And yeah, guess what? I like me some Funko Pops, but I don't want a Funko Pop video game. That's just dumb. I want no part of that. And it felt cheap to come in here and advertise it's a new Gears game, and then it's a Funko Pop spin-off thing, and it's a mobile game. And I just looked at them and was like, oh, f*** you, don't, that's rude to all the Gears of War fans out there. And then they came in there and said, oh, by the way, that was just a teaser. We actually do have an actual new Gears of War game coming out. That's how you do it. Going back to EA, you want to talk about a mobile game? Don't stop your entire thing to come in here and spotlight the mobile game for 10 minutes. Don't do that. Make it a very brief mention. And don't make it something that teases, oh, this is this franchise that you guys love and you've been waiting for the next installment of. Guess what? It's a mobile game now. Unless you actually have a real next installment for it. It's almost like Xbox received an early copy of the script for the EA conference and just went, let us completely pants these guys in front of the entire crowd. And speaking of that new Gears of War game, yeah man, it looks good. I'll admit I've not played a Gears of War game since the very first one, because I haven't had an Xbox since the very first one, and I didn't get a computer that could actually handle a Gears of War game until just last year. So I haven't mean to jump back into it, but I was watching this and I was really invested in this because, I gotta say, it's really bold of them to make a Gears of War game, and then you've got the protagonist from the previous Gears of War games right there. They're standing right over there, and then they go, we gotta go off on our own mission. And then it's these other two characters splitting apart from the protagonist of the previous game and going off on their own mission, just the two of them. It's weird. It's almost like Gears of War meets The Last of Us and that most recent God of War game. Something about a story about just two people having to go on a long-ass journey in order to find some secret thing that could save everyone, or in order to just achieve some simple little goal. Yeah, taking this big, insane adventure that's destroying the entire world and then boiling it down to just a touching story about two people that really gets to the heart of these characters. I love stuff like that. And that looks like exactly what this is going to be. So, yeah, man, I have not gotten into a Gears of War game since the first one. I think it's finally time I get back into a Gears of War game. And then finally, the entire conference ended with this other secret trailer coming in. Like, they set it up like the Gears reveal was the final thing. They set it up like, hey, this is the big franchise on Xbox. We're going to end with the announcement of a new game. You guys are going to love it. That would have been a slam dunk. Then they come in here and go, oh, one more thing. They Columbo'd us. They came in here with one final trailer for Cyberpunk, a game that so many people have been waiting for. I will admit, I had heard some about this, but I didn't know the hype behind this thing. I didn't know that many people were excited for this thing, but I took one look at this and damn man, I was impressed. I was sold on this game. This thing looks fantastic. This game, the world that it creates, I just got done playing Detroit Become Human. I just got done playing a future world where androids and man live side by side with each other. This looks so completely different from that. This looks like it took the sleek, futuristic style of Detroit Become Human and slathered a bunch of 80s exploitation films all over it. I am excited. The art style of this world was enough to get me invested. It looks like if Detroit Become Human was made back in the 80s by a bunch of dudes on coke. So yes, that was the Xbox conference. I am all out of steam. My voice is destroyed right now. I don't know why. I thought it'd be a good idea to wear this knit wool cap when it's 90 degrees outside, but it's the only thing I had with an X on it, and it felt appropriate right now. But yeah, man, I cannot tell you how incredible it is that just the day after what I pray to God is the worst show we're going to see at E3 this year, we got what I can almost say for a definite is the best show of E3 this year. It's incredible to me that every single year, whenever I saw an Xbox One, I went, yeah, it was good, but let's wait on Nintendo and Sony. Let's see what they had to do. I can't imagine either of them topping that this year. And if they do top it, good, great. I will not complain if I'm proven wrong on this one, because it means I got a show even better than this. But this is one of the best shows that I have ever seen at an E3. Just 50 games, back to back to back. It really does feel like Xbox looked at all the problems they had in the previous years, all the reasons why they kept losing to the other companies in the previous couple of years, and they just came in here and they went, okay, we finally figured it out. And you know something? They figured it out. I am so excited by so many things I saw here. Only problem is, yeah, man, you need to come in here with your exclusives and say it's exclusive just to Xbox, not Windows 10 and Steam and Xbox, just Xbox. If they can do that, then they are really going to start selling some stuff, because what they showed off this year, those were console sellers. Those were the things that could get people talking, but only, what, 15 of them were actually exclusive to them? Yeah, man, those were a damn good 15 games. But are they really exclusive to you? That's still the question, but here's the thing. In the previous couple of years, you could look at the exclusives to Xbox and go, yeah, but I can just play that on my computer. But if I don't like playing stuff on the computer, it's not a big loss if I don't own an Xbox. I can go without having to play it. This year, there's so many things on there that if you don't like playing stuff on your computer, hey man, I could see you finally going, all right, it's time for me to buy an Xbox. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about the Xbox conference down below. And again, if you want to watch all of these with us, then just join me at twitch.tv/ProfessorThorgE. We are streaming these all week long with live reactions and talking to the chat about how we feel about this. So come over there and join us. It's a ton of fun. And if you want to know when each of these begin, you can also follow me on Twitter at ProfessorThorgE, and I will announce when we're about to start streaming. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.